Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday Cup round. It is season 3, as we know, and it is tonight, round 5 from Mid-Ohio. I am your host, Denzel, but you can call me Denz. And I welcome you all tonight. I hope you're all doing well on this fine Wednesday evening. I hope you're excited and keen to see some radical race cars go around a track in the middle of buttfuck nowhere in so-called United States of America. But it is what it is. Yeah, hope you're doing well. What's everyone up to? Well, if you're up to whatever you're watching, hopefully you're watching this stream. Uh, let's get into a few things, shall we? Let's go into the server and watch the cars go around the track for the final 6-7 minutes before quality kicks over for the first race of the evening, shall we? Alrighty, folks. We're in the server. There's a couple of cars in tonight. We've got about, I think, 7 cars in. Let's have a look who's going round the track. Uh, we click on that name of Mr. Chris Monroe. He's currently, top of this leaderboard in practice of a 123.4. I believe he's coming around the final corner now in the last sector. Taking it very nicely, taking it very easily and very smoothly. What's he done now? He's done a 123.1. Let's stay on board with him. Come up turn 1 now. Takes a very, very typical line through. Very, very fast. Nearly wide going onto the grass. They're coming out of 1. Coming into 2 and 3. Taking it very nice and smoothly. Up to 4 now. A very middle wide line. Kind of a go-karty line he's taken. Hitting his markers that he puts in front of him. Come up to the back straight now. I think he's taking a little bit easy. Bit bumpy going through there. Now he's come up to, I believe is 7? No, it's probably not 7, probably like 5, isn't it? Yeah, a bit squiggly and wide there. Hitting his, again, his markers. He's probably trying to put some fast times down, seeing how fast he can go around this track and, come the race in a good 20-25 minutes. He can put the hammer. Oh, a bit squiggly coming into the last sector. Last corner now. Bit of a late apex, bit school. Taylor coming out of there. And across the line with a 122.7. That was a faster lap. And back to the pits he goes. Let's go on board with Walsh. No, he's in the pits. Let's go on with McEwen. He's a second and a half down from Munro, currently in 3rd. Looks like he's riding a bit stiff tonight, going over certain bumps. Looks like. I'm not sure what the setups are like for these cars. If it's fixed or if it's open setup. I should have probably checked with Mr. Munro beforehand. But I guess if anyone in the Wednesday Cup Series is watching, they could probably correct me in the chat. Bit slow coming into this the middle sector here. It's very stop start this middle sector. Into the final sector now. A little bit unsettled the car coming into the last turn. And very wide from McEwen coming to the very last turn of Mid-Ohio. And he's gone back into the pits. Let's go on with Ferguson. Ferguson's still in the pits. Let's go on with Byron on the back straight. Taking very typical lines, keeping it very, very easy for himself. Keeping the car planted, trying not to pick up any mistakes. Trying to keep his line across the whole track very consistent. Coming to the last sector now. Hitting the markers, hitting his markers I should say. Is he going to go bit very tail happy coming into the last corner? Second to last corner, I should say. That's something I've seen from the past few cars I've ridden on board with. The second to last corner it catches a lot of the drivers out, so there'll be one corner to look out in the opening stages of the race one tonight. That's for sure. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the practice watch right now, and then we'll go into a tiny little cool down break before the quali server kicks over. It'll be a quick one. McEwen coming up to middle sector. Sorry, my bad. That was Byron. I'm not paying attention. I'm not paying attention. Byron keeping his car consistent. Coming up to the last sector now. Coming up to the 12th corner. Bit late there on the turn. A bit of understeer. Come up to 13 now. Very easy. Come on the main straight. And still 3.3 seconds down from the leader. Just under a minute now till the end of practice. Let's see who else is on track. McEwen coming up to 13, last corner. Let's ride on board into on the roll bar cam. Come to the first set of S's, coming up to turn 3 or 4, I should say. Up the back straight now, a bit wide on exit out of 4, and he's onto the bits. We're now in overtime. This is the end of practice. Now it's an overtime session, and the server should be dropped down and we kicked onto, I should say, qualifying. And with that, I will pop you on to that whilst everything is being settled for the qualifying session. And whilst that is all happening, I'm going to quickly find a track map with all the corners so I don't stumble upon corner numbers tonight. Anyway, folks, whilst we're waiting for the next server to pop up for qualifying, I'd like to remind you that this weekend it is round 2 of the AK Racing V8 Supercars Super 2 grid race. Coming to you from the top end of Australia, Darwin from Hidden Valley. It's going to be an awesome one, folks. My fellow admin commentators, Mr. Laurie Longpow, shall be in the commentary box as usual, with, I might assume, would be Mr. Chris Munro, who's in the main grid and Wednesday Cup grid tonight, and Mr. Zach O'Reilly, possibly. And then next week, sorry, the next round afterwards with the AK Racing vs Supercar Series. Main grid, it is round 3 from Tailem Bend, or say the Bend. And then next week, it is the final round of the Wednesday Cup Series Season 3. It comes from Tor Poznan, which I believe is in Poland. That's right, you hear that right, folks. It is the final round of the Wednesday Cup Series for Season 3. And then soon we'll kick over to Season 4. Silly me, I forgot to bring up the, whatchamacallit, poster that Mr. Munro put up for the Discord, which showcases Dallara F3 cars. So that's going to be a good series to watch. Hopefully get some more new faces, some more new entrants into Discord and for sign-ups for the Wednesday Cup. Definitely be a good one. No word yet on calendar for that, but there will hopefully be some word soon on that. Alright, I am seeing now that the qualifying server is up and running. I'll let myself load in. Hopefully it should be a quick one. Alrighty, folks, we are in the server. Cars are currently going around the track. They're definitely on their outlap. We've just got in time. We've just caught the cars coming around. We're currently riding on board with Daniel Walsh, about to start his first qualifying lap of the evening. We shall ride on board with him. Let's ride on board. Right on board. Braking just after the 100-meter board, taking a middle line, coming out of 1. Staying off the rumble strip. Coming up to 2. Then 3. Oh, bit tail happy there, coming into 4 and 5. Definitely those cold tyres are not doing him any good at the moment. Obviously he's probably not brought up his tyres to temp. Now Mr. Thomas Wilson is taken Walsh to say, to hopefully get a wriggle on. Come into the middle sector here. Still a bit squiggly from Walsh. 2 early upshifts into the back end of the middle sector. Trying to be consistent, trying to get his tyres up to temperature. The weather's probably not doing anyone just at the moment, as It is definitely winter time over in the States, and I believe the server weather is set to a cold temperature for ambient and probably track. So coming out of 14 now, last corner. Walsh has done a 126.2. Wilson has done a 122.4. McEwen just crossed the line in a 122.9. Only nearly half a second down from Wilson. He's on another hot one. That's right on board with McEwen coming up to the bus stop. Slowly catching Walsh. Walsh must be struggling with his tyre temps at the moment. Probably not feeling very happy with the car at the moment. McEwen very quickly come out of 5. He's on the back straight now. In 6th gear, down to 4th, down to 3rd, and 2nd. Coming into a section which reminds me of something out of Barbara Motorsport Park or Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, I think it's what it's called. I've experienced that Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in iRacing. Good little circuit for a majority of different disciplined cars, that is. Into the middle sector now with McEwen. Sorry, we're in the final sector now. He's been held up by Walsh coming into 13. McEwen has had to let go of the throttle and probably relinquish his current onboard lap. It's not going to be a good one coming to the line. No time yet. I have to configure some settings here, folks. Yeah, don't mind me, everyone. Just gonna configuring these settings. Make it a bit more readable for the lower quality on the stream. But hopefully, I can. My sincere apology, folks. Looks like we've gone into overtime with the quality session. That's the end of the quality session, I should say. I'm just going to move all this crap out the way. Just bear with me, everyone. We're currently switching over to servers. Should be on soon. And yes, the server's gone live for race 1. There's 3 races tonight. First race 15 minutes, and the last 2 races will be 20 minutes long. Both will be reverse. I believe race 2 is reverse grid of the top 10, I think. Well, actually, no, less than 10 drivers. So both will be reverse grid, but I think the second race will be reverse grid from the first race results, and third race will be a championship reverse grid. So that should be very interesting and shake a few things up. Anyway, enough of that. Let's hop in to Assetto Corsa and do a thing. And don't worry, folks, I will remember to remove the safety car upon lights out. So it looks like in first place for tonight we have Thomas Wilson. Second is Chris Munro. Third is Alex McEwen. Fourth, Daniel Walsh. Fifth, Ferguson. Sixth, Longley. Seventh, Smith. Eighth, Byron. Not bad turnout for Wednesday Cup tonight. We are just under 30 seconds away from lights out. I will have to switch to this view for lights out since I don't. For some reason, again, I'm still trying to figure out how to get my Assetto Corsa stock red lights to pop up upon race start, but it is what it is, and I just suck. But hey, let's go lights out. 4 red lights. And it's green and go, and away racing we are. And a bit of touching there from some of the folks. Pardon me, just to make sure my safety car is back in the pits. And a very clean start for the most part. Just a bit of bump and rubbing from the top 2 leaders of the pack on race start. Munro's got a small lead at the moment, coming into the first hairpin of the track, which I believe is 4 and 5. Very weird how the corners are numbered for this circuit. Munro trying to break a toe, trying to weave left and right. Thomas Wilson trying to get into the toe and make some moves and against the first place. It looks like Wilson's got a bit of momentum coming onto Munro into the middle sector of the circuit. Wilson is now creeped up right behind him. We've got a bit of bump and rubbing from Longley and McEwen. Just a bit of stuttering there, apologies. Oh, we have a car off. Longley has gone off in the middle sector. Cameron Smith at the back of the pack trying to make his way up and claim some places. My apologies, folks. I will switch the camera view in just a second. Just want to ride in drone cam for the first lap of this race just to make sure we don't miss anything. And Byron has been tapped off at 13, and pretty clean so far. Let's go on board with Munro in a fight position with Wilson coming through the bus stop, coming 4 and 5 now. He's still got a lead, about nearly half a second in front of Wilson. Munro going all over the road, trying to break it to toe from Wilson. Wilson catching him. He's got very good momentum. He's going to look on the inside coming into, I believe it's 7. Munro closing the door. Wilson backing off. Coming to the middle sector now. Wilson all over the back of Munro, trying to make some moves. trying to get the move done for first position. Coming up to the back part of the circuit, the final sector, and we have Wilson looking lively side by side. Come up to the last final portion, coming up to now what is turn 13. Wilson has gone the inside of Munro at 13 and got the move done just before 14, and now Wilson is now taking over the lead of the race. Munro in tow, trying to fight back. McEwen slowly catching up to the fighting leaders of the battle pack. Munro trying to climb back and climb right over Mr. Wilson to... Ooh, looks like Wilson has gone over the rumble strips coming out of 5 and just got a little bit lively there, which caused Munro to gain a bit of momentum and get on the back toe of Wilson. Wilson covering from Munro come out to what I said is, I believe is turn 7. Munro on the outside, that's to make the move done, and he looks like he's got the move done. Going on the outside, which is now going to make him on the inside of the middle sector of the circuit. McEwen again right on the back of Wilson, and McEwen bumping the rumble strip on the inside of a corner there, making his car very unsettled and losing a tenth there from Wilson. Wilson again trying to psych out Munro, trying to get Munro into a mistake so Wilson can climb right back into the position that he was in. Now at 10-14 we have a good pack. Munro and Wilson in a good fight now. Wilson right behind Munro on the inside up to 1. Munro has to cover on the outside to get some momentum so he can climb back into first position. McEwen now all over the back of Wilson. Wilson's going to have to decide whether to keep on fighting to get into his first position from Munro or to stay back and defend McEwen. McEwen still trying to climb, still trying to get the toe to Wilson, trying to get into second position. Wilson is still in the fight with Munro here in the first opening stages of race 1 tonight. A little bit settled now from Munro and Wilson. They both looks like they're settling in, but Wilson's still trying to get some moves done. Munro rather, is trying to stick to his lines. Wilson looking on the inside again, coming out of one corner on the back section of the circuit. Wilson on the outside of Munro, coming into 12, 13 and 14. Wilson got the move done. McEwen making use of how wide Munro's gone at 13 and has climbed over a spot into second place. Coming up to the main straight now. Wilson's got a lead from McEwen. Wilson has got a lead over about half a second from McEwen. McEwen is now fending off Munro. Munro trying to get over the mistake he's just done in the previous lap, trying to climb back into contention into second and first. McEwen trying to psych out Wilson here, coming up to, I believe, is 7. Wilson covering from McEwen into 8 now. A good tight little pack here in a battle for the first 3 positions here. Again, the first 4 laps of this race is very tightly knit between the top 3. Wilson coming out of said corner onto the grass there in the back section of the circuit. Surprisingly not unsettling his car too much and keeping the momentum and speed. Coming into 13 and 14 now. Wilson keeping a tight line with McEwen keeping a wide line, getting a late apex. Wilson opening up a lead of about to half a second now from McEwen, doing 124.3 now. Wilson 124.3. McEwen faster by a couple of tenths on that previous lap. McEwen might have the overall pace over Wilson at this present time. Munro sorting out his, staying back, sort of thinking about his options, thinking of what he wants to do on the on his attack plan for the remaining 7 minutes of the first race tonight. Walsh currently 3.5 seconds back from the leader, around about 3 seconds from Munro, trying to be consistent and trying to get on the back of this battle pack here for the top 3 positions. Wilson very squiggly out at 8, it seems. He might be already scrubbing his tyres. We do not know. McEwen keeping a tight line in the back section of the circuit, trying to psych out Wilson into a mistake. McEwen looks like he's got the toe, more momentum, trying to get up the rear, on the inside wing of Wilson, coming up to 13 and 14 now. Wilson on an inside line. Munro about to have a look and overtake McEwen, but McEwen stays where he is. McEwen now right on the back wing of Wilson, might get a good run up here into 1, but Wilson tries to get a bit of bumping and rubbing there from Wilson and McEwen, coming up to 1 now. Munro is just doing his thing, trying to wait for the right opportunity for if whether McEwen or Wilson gets a mistake, to where Munro can himself move up a few positions. McEwen now fending off from Munro. Looks like that little squiggly incident he did coming out of 1 has messed up his momentum to just tick on the back of Wilson. Wilson now trying to open up a lead, still half a second in front of McEwen. It looks around about 5.5 minutes of the race remaining. We shall go back into the rest of the pack and see how everyone else is doing. It seems like the rest of the races tonight are fairly spread out, except for the top 3. They're very close together, now spreading out in the last 5 minutes of tonight's race 1. Wilson still half a second in front of McEwen. Wilson that time a 1:23.6, faster out of himself. And Munro going wide out of 1, must have misjudged the braking marker coming out of 1, before 1 I should say, sorry. McEwen trying to save his position in second, trying to weather the thing, shall I push and get on the back of Wilson, or should I be sitting here in my position of second and trying to keep a consistent pace to keep away from Munro? Munro currently in 3rd, trying to gain more momentum, more pace to cloud all over the back of McEwen to try and claim 2nd place again. Wilson trying to also as well stay consistent and stay ahead of McEwen and Munro, trying not to make too many mistakes in the final minutes of race 1. Wilson, McEwen, Munro coming around turn 13 and 14 now, all driving similar lines, being very consistent. So Wilson 122.8, 123.5 from McEwen, and 123.7 from Munro. Very, very predictable ladder times there from Wilson, McEwen, and Munro. Shows the current pace of each driver in the top 3. Ferguson there with a 124.1-ish. Looks like he's got the pace of the top 3 drivers. Maybe Ferguson can stay consistent himself and claim a position or 2 in the final 3 minutes of the race. Walsh currently in 4th, 7 seconds from the leader. Trying to be consistent, maybe gain a more race pace to catch the leaders. Wilson opening up a 1.1 second lead from McEwen. McEwen another 700ths of a second in front of Munro. Munro 2 seconds now from Wilson. Bit of understeer there and a bit of oversteer coming out of 13 and 14. A 120, oh, that time a 122.9 from Munro. He looks like he's got the current pace over the leaders. Can he, oh, and he's now gone wide again, come out of 1 on the grass. Is that going to hurt him, or has he still got the pace to climb all over the back of McEwen and gain another position? We can only watch and see. McEwen now slowly getting some pace, staying within a second of Wilson. Wilson might be a little bit hurt here. McEwen opening up a gap from Munro of just about a second and a half. McEwen very consistent with his markers. That time a 1:23.033, faster than Wilson at his current time. He's got better pace than Wilson. We're coming up to possibly the final 2 laps. But now we got 40 seconds till the end of the race. It might cause another lap after this one. McEwen 4 and 5. It's within a second, dropping back now to 1.2 seconds now. Wilson opening up the lead. We'll go to the back end of the pack. It is now a fight for 7th and 8th. Sorry, a fight for 7th between Byron and Smith now. Coming out of 1. Smith on the back of Byron, and now the final stages of the race. We now have another lap to go. Byron opening up a second lead from Smith. Smith trying to gain some ground here. Try not to finish last. Now 1.7 second lead between Wilson and McEwen. Munro is to about 2 seconds-ish back from McEwen. Coming up to the final sector of the circuit. Wilson now opening up a 2.1 second lead to McEwen. Wilson coming around the final corner now and finishing in first for race 1 this evening. Very well done. Wilson, McEwen in second, Munro now in third, Walsh 4th. Ferguson now coming around the final turn now to claim 5th, and that is your top 5 there. Very well done to our top 5 for this evening in race 1. Longley now finishing in 6th. Byron Smith will probably close out the latter end of the grid in 7th and 8th. Alright folks, well that is our race 1 for this evening. I believe the server's about to go down. And we will then rejoin for race 2, which will be a reverse grid race, which should make which should make things a little bit interesting, I should say. Alright folks, we're obviously now in the race 2 server. Let's get a look at our grid tonight. Looks like Cameron Smith will start in 1st position, following now then Peyton Byron. Then Longley in 3rd. 4th for Ferguson. 5th for Walsh. 6th for Munro. 7th for McEwen. And 8th for Wilson. Looks like that. Currently a minute till lights out. This shall definitely be very interesting, as it is reverse grid, so better look out for turn 1 incidents and anything of the like. There's currently no one else about to hop into the server. Approaching 20 seconds now. Here we go. Approaching 10 seconds. The red light should pop up. 4 red lights now. And it's green lights, and away we go. A good, interesting start there by the 3rd place. Apologies, I've forgotten the names. We're going up to turn 1 now, and it's too wide, and it's very clean at this present time. Looks like I want to say Smith's doing his thing. And we have a car off after the bus stop. I don't know who that is at this present time. My apologies, folks. It looks like it was Smith that went off. We have now Longley in first, opening up a good lead of a second to Ferguson. Ferguson in contention here with Byron. 2 wide coming up to this turn here. My apologies. I still do not know the turn names of this track. Really should drain them into my brain, but you know. We have cars off. Daniel Walsh is off. Munro did a thing. Let's have a look here. McEwen third. Byron with Wilson chasing his tail. Walsh on the is that Walsh? Yes, Walsh on the back of Wilson, trying to gain some ground and gain position. Looks like we have Byron and Longley going at it. No, that's no. My thing is going haywire, I should say, and they have Byron and Wilson have touched. It looks like, and have gone off at 13 and 14. Anyway, Longley leads Ferguson a good 1 second. Ferguson and McEwen a good 500ths of a second gap between the two. Walsh in fourth. Munro trying to gain position, trying to climb over the back of Daniel Walsh here. Coming around 5. Some action up the front here. We have McEwen in danger of Ferguson here. Ferguson slowly grabbing the toe from McEwen down the back straight. Walsh here being contested for 4th position from Munro. Munro trying to make it stick, trying to be consistent, trying to grab more toe, trying to find a good opportunity to pass Walsh on his very kind of tight-knit track where the corners come out of nowhere for you. Walsh looks like Munro is about to climb, get the overlap and climb around the inside I should say, of Walsh. Walsh holding his line. It's too wide now coming down the main straight. It's going to be side by side coming out to 1. Who's going to come out on top after 1? Looks like Walsh is sticking to his guns. Holding Munro staying on the outside, gotten a good momentum coming up to the bus stop now. Walsh has to adhere to Munro and slot in behind him into the bus stop. Very good battle from Munro and Walsh that was, folks. Very good. Let's have a look at Ferguson and Longley. Oh, there's a good pack here for first, second, and third. Something must have definitely happened whilst I was looking at Walsh and Munro, but now it's a good 3-way battle here. Longley, McEwen. Longley with the toe coming at the back of the main straight. Ferguson having a look at the back of Longley here, trying to think what to do, trying to plan out his next attack plan. Ferguson weaving in and out all over the back of Longley, trying to force a mistake from Longley. Longley trying to keep Ferguson at bay, trying not to put himself into a mistake that would give Ferguson the opportunity to attack and gain position from Longley. Ferguson a bit late on the break, a little bit very wide and very sideways into 13 and 14 from Ferguson, opening up a lead between himself and Longley of probably about half a second to second. McEwen with a 1.3 second lead to Longley. Longley with a half a second gap between himself and Ferguson. Munro slowly gaining ground with definite race pace. Coming to the back straight now. Ferguson right on the clenches of Longley. Can he get the toe from Longley to put himself in a position to make a move for the next position? Munro definitely having the race pace at this point in time. He's climbed all the way and gone right into the back of Andrew Ferguson, weaving in and out all over the back. He's definitely got the pace of Ferguson. Ferguson trying to keep Munro at bay, and Munro's forced a mistake from Ferguson, and Munro has claimed third position. And now Munro on the attack to Longley. Longley having to go wide up one. Very late break, very spooked by Munro. Munro now side by side into the bus stop chicane. Ferguson slowly climbing back on all over the back rear axle of Munro. Trying to now force a mistake from Munro to definitely gain a position. Now Walsh slowly gaining ground here. He's just sitting back and waiting for that one mistake from the three amigos here. Slowly planning out where he can. Oh, there he goes now. Still planning his attack move from when second, third, and fourth place commit a mistake. Oh, and now Walsh is looking at Ferguson. A bit wide from Walsh coming in, trying to get on the inside of Ferguson. Walsh with a little bit of race pace over Ferguson, it looks like. He's definitely hurt himself here. He's on the clenches of Wilson. And a mistake there from what seems to be Longley. Ferguson gaining now side by side from Longley and Ferguson come up to one now. Ferguson on the higher ground. Staying in third place. Wilson on the attack of Walsh. So we have a very interesting look here on the back straight. Very good tight knit battle pack here, I should say, folks. It's very hard to talk about what's going on right in front of your face. All I can say now is Ferguson leading this tight knit battle pack. Can he hold position and maybe hope for that Wilson, Longley, or Walsh get into a mistake that causes Ferguson to relieve himself of the possible danger of attack? Can he make a sigh of relief? But Wilson still on attack mode, trying to gain a position here. Let's look at McEwen here. It's now lap 6, 11 minutes of the race left. McEwen leads Munro 4 seconds. Ferguson trailing behind Munro 3 seconds. Wilson side by side with Ferguson on the back straight here. Longley and Walsh at a good race pace battle. Side by side. Ferguson having to give way to Walsh. Oh, no, sorry, my bad. Wilson and Ferguson. Ferguson with a mistake there, coming out of 14, giving away more position to Wilson. Can Walsh pull away from Longy and gain more momentum on Ferguson to claim 4th position. We just have to wait and see. Wilson trailing behind Munro a good 3 seconds. Ferguson another 3 seconds behind Wilson. Walsh another 3 seconds behind. So at the moment, the pack, the whole race grid is very spread out at the moment, and nothing too much to watch in terms of any close knit battles at this point in time. Well, in the meantime, folks, I'm just going to chill out and watch the track map and the timing board to see anything happening in terms of if anyone gains any momentum to instigate a battle between any drivers. Currently 7.5 minutes till the end of race 2. looks like we have a good fight for 4th and 5th here. Ferguson and Walsh going at it. Walsh trying to climb all over the back of Ferguson at this point in time. Can Walsh here get the momentum, get the slipstream here to make a move on Ferguson coming up to 7? Oh, Ferguson covering from Walsh. Walsh on the outside of the circuit. Ferguson a little bit squiggly there coming out of 7, now into 8. 2x2 into 9. A little bit of toe-to-toe racing here. A little bit of cat and mouse action here in the last closing section of this race. Can Walsh make a move on Ferguson in the closing stages of this race? Walsh very on that cat and mouse action, forcing Ferguson to a mistake, coming into 13 now. A bit of bump and rub in there from Ferguson and Walsh. Ferguson bumping Walsh, nearly going off track. Walsh and Ferguson very still close together at the moment, coming out at 14 on the main straight now. Walsh leading Ferguson into 1, both keeping the same similar line, coming out of 1, going into 2 and 3, the bus stop chicane here. Ferguson trying to stay all over the back of Walsh here. Walsh trying to keep Ferguson at bay, trying to not let Ferguson get any idea as to a little bit of a gap has formed now from Walsh and Ferguson. Walsh definitely doing his part. Ooh, Ferguson a little bit hot there into 7, now into 8. Both keeping together. Let's quickly look back here at Munro and Wilson, another tight-knit group here. Wilson obviously trying to gain onto the back of Munro here. So we look back here, Ferguson and Walsh still going at it. Wilson definitely got the toe from Munro coming into 1 now. Wilson will definitely have the race pace and definitely have the momentum now coming into the bus stop chicane. Munro definitely trying to keep Wilson at bay, to definitely keep Wilson from having the opportunity to get round. Currently 2 laps to go. Wilson definitely's got the momentum. We've got the slipstream here. Side by side into 7. Munro a bit wide, come out of 7 now into 8. Definitely some good racing here. As we were looking at Munro and Wilson, looks like Ferguson has gained position from Walsh, taken 4th position. Walsh definitely trying to fight back. Walsh definitely trying to get on the inside of Ferguson, come up to 13, now 14. Walsh very squiggly coming out of 13. Now causing to drop back a little bit from Ferguson. Ferguson sticking to his lines. McEwen on the charge here. He's going to probably soon approach lap show, even though it's just the last lap. Munro and Wilson come up to 7 now. Munro again going wide on 7. Wilson trying to slip under the wing, trying to force Munro into the mistake, so it will give Wilson the opportunity to pass. Definitely a good battle for second position at the final lap of this race. Wilson doing the psych, side by side now, coming into 12 and 13. Wilson with the upper hand. Wilson second to a very shallow line, very tight knit line. Can Munro very quickly out of 13, unfortunately, having to relinquish second position to Wilson, with Wilson and finishing in second, with Munro finishing third. McEwen in first. Very well done to McEwen tonight. That was definitely a very good last lap battle between Wilson and Munro. Ferguson and Walsh. Ferguson leads. Walsh coming across the line now. Ferguson in fourth. Walsh in fifth. Very well done to those two. Looks like we'll have Longley coming in, finishing in sixth. Byron finishing in seventh. Definitely had an unfortunate race tonight. And he will finish in seventh. Alright, folks. We will now go into another overtime session. We will have to wait until the server goes down and just restart the next server for the last race of the evening. Another 20 minutes and a championship reverse grid race. Apologies folks, I am back and the lights have just gone out. Had some issues again to the server. It's a good start from Byron and Ferguson. Ferguson in contention with Wilson. Definitely a good net pack here. Oh, Cameron Smith tagging the back of Walsh. They're going a bit wide. They come out of the bus stop chicane. We have what seems to look like Ferguson going wide out of 5. Side by side, Ferguson and Wilson down the back straight. Munro with McEwen on the back of him. McEwen with the slipstream. Coming up to 7. Couple cars side by side, a bit wide there, coming to 8 now. Very tight net. Oop, car going wide there. I believe that was Ferguson as well, going wide there. Up 12, 13 and 14 to complete lap 1. Oh, a touch there from Munro on the back of Ferguson. Smith just joined him and around him. And now Ferguson, Munro and Smith are now at the back of the pack. Byron leads Wilson. Wilson trying to do a thing. McEwen and Wilson going at it. Coming up the back straight now. McEwen right on the tail of Wilson. Got the slipstream now. Is he going to make a move? Coming up to 7. Byron trying to hold his line here, trying to stay away from Wilson and McEwen. Byron falling into the hands of Wilson here. Walsh in the midst of a 3-way battle here for 2nd and 3rd. Cars getting a little bit squiggly there in the second sector of the circuit. Still probably got some cold tyres amongst the back here. Munro making up some places. Now slowly climbing. Oh, it looks like Byron's fallen back and is down 4th. Very interesting. Wilson now first. Munro's gone off the track again at 13. Don't know why. Must not be having a good race 3 tonight, that is. Wilson leads McEwen a good half a second. And a lot of the packs spreading out already early. 60 minutes left to go. Munro having a good battle here for 5th position. Munro going wide back there at turn 1, now in the bus stop chicane. Munro now sizing up his options here, coming to 4 and 5. Ferguson definitely going wide here at 4, now in 5. Munro's got the upper hand and now taking position back from Ferguson up into 5th. Ferguson definitely has a toe now from Munro. He might make a move now coming into 6 and 7. Ferguson staying where he is, keeping his car and nose clean. Slowly using the momentum of the braking of the corners. Slowly gaining position whenever Munro breaks into corners. Ferguson's going to size him up and slowly get a few milliseconds of position to Munro. Munro now side by side with Byron. Come up to the back last sector of the circuit. Munro overtaking Byron in 12. Byron cocking that up in 13. Losing a position to Ferguson in the process. Still a good gaps position between 1, 2 and 3. Munro definitely with some race pace here, slowly trying to gain back onto the rear hind legs of Walsh, completing at the top 3. Munro definitely wanting to make get a move on tonight, causing him to go up at 1 and decide to mow the lawn. Had no idea these radical race cars were Honda powered, but it is what it is. 10 minutes left in the session. All 7 cars very, very spaced out. Making my night of commentary very easy. Not having to talk as much. But hey, work smarter, not harder, eh? Munro again going off. And deciding to mow some more grass in the latter section of the circuit. Walsh here under attack by the looks of it from Munro. Munro slowly gaining some ground here on the back of Walsh. Munro with definitely some better race pace here than Walsh at the moment in the fight for third. Can Munro make a move in the final 4 minutes of this race? And looks like Munro will gain some more momentum on the back of Walsh. Walsh definitely shaking in his boots. Can Walsh keep Munro at bay here coming to the final turn now? Walsh a bit wide along with Munro. Munro definitely going to have the slipstream on the main straight now. Munro sizing up Walsh, deciding where to attack, maybe keeping his nose clean, currently at 1. Walsh also keeping himself clean, trying to defend from Munro, definitely staying consistent, keeping out of trouble, keeping clean. Munro going wide at 4. He's going to take a late apex at 5. He's going to drop back a little bit from Walsh, but he might still have some race pace and get more momentum down the back straight here, come up to 7. Munro still a bit behind Walsh, but definitely is seeing a better result of race pace in the final sector of the circuit here. Munro again trying to size up Walsh, trying to find the right place to attack Walsh. Walsh still trying to defend here at the back section of the circuit. Walsh slowly picking up some mistakes here, definitely holding his line into the final turn. Munro again going to have probably some good toe, good momentum and slipstream come up to 1. Will he keep himself right up the backside of Walsh? And it looks like he will. Walsh still probably definitely shaking his boots, trying to keep Munro away. Munro trying to force Walsh to a mistake. Walsh trying to get Munro to make a mistake by attacking early. Munro definitely got some toe on the back straight up to 7. Munro saying, oh, going wide at 7 here. Munro taking some wide lines, trying to get some momentum. A bit squiggly there from Walsh, causing Munro to just gain a bit more momentum. Munro on the outside of Walsh. Walsh trying to push on the outside, and Munro has come into contact with Walsh at the back section of the circuit. Munro is going to drive off, and Walsh is definitely hurting. Can Walsh make ground again and re-attack? Munro very, very wide and sliding at 13 and 14. Munro probably going to adhere to Walsh in this, yes. Definitely looks like he's addressing. Sorry, readdressing I should say. Maybe he's just yeah, he's definitely giving way to Walsh, probably for that incident at the back end of the circuit. On the re-attack now to regain that position from Walsh again. Munro really, really sniffing the back of that radical. We are now in the final minute of the race tonight. It'll probably end up being another lap afterwards, depending if... Oh, Munro on the inside of Walsh, up to 7 now. He's overtaken Walsh. And he's overtaken Walsh cleanly, and he's gained 3rd position. Can Munro keep position, or will Walsh climb back up and just knock Munro off his pedestal? We do not know. It looks like it'll be another lap around as first place goes over the line with about 20 seconds to go. Wilson leading 2 seconds in front of McEwen. Good job from Wilson tonight. Looks like McEwen's in lap traffic by the looks of the road map. Munro and Walsh approaching the line now, starting their final lap. I was going to say a very big well done to the drivers tonight. Some very overall clean racing, by the most part. Mid-Ohio is definitely a very interesting, nice circuit for these cars. And we will do it all again next week for the final time of this season. And it looks like it's actually now the final lap. Even though I thought this was the final lap, but hey, it is what it is. I am what I am. Wilson approaching the final 3 turns for the last time tonight. Very well done to Wilson. I think, if I'm correct, he is now won 2 races tonight. Very well done for Wilson, finishing first tonight. McEwen second. Very well done to him. Munro approaching the final 3 turns tonight to finish a very noble 3rd position. Walsh, very, very, very good driving by him tonight. Very good in battles, keeping his nose for the most part clean. Munro going off the track and designed to go and crash. But hey, it is what it is. Ferguson come around last time tonight. Very well done by him. And he's done crash as well. He will finish 5th. And Byron will finish in 6th tonight. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that was a very interesting stream tonight. Probably not as intense as last week's Wednesday Night Cup stream, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for watching tonight. I will remind you that next week is the final round of Season 3 Wednesday Cup Series. Round 6, it is Tor Poznan coming to you at Poland. Hopefully this will be a cracker since it'll be the last race for this season. Hopefully we'll have a few more drivers. We can only hope so. This weekend on Sunday it is round 2 of the VS Supercars Super 2 grid, hosted by K Racing, coming to you live from Hidden Valley in the top end in Darwin. The stream will kick off at around 5:30 PM Australian Centre Time, I believe. It will be hosted by my fellow admin commentator, Mr. Laurie Longpower, alongside possibly Chris Munro and Zach O'Reilly. You have to wait and see. And then the following week, it will be round 3 of the AK Racing VS Supercars main grid race coming to you from the Bend Motorsport Circuit from South Australia. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the stream tonight. Again, my apologies, it was less intense than usual. But nevertheless, I hope you have a great rest of the week. And on behalf of AK Racing, we hope to see you at the next stream, which will be Sunday from 5:30 p.m. Once again, thank you, good night, and ta-ta for now.